This is the Barbecue Central Radio Show, which airs live every Tuesday evening from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Barbecue Central Show is being brought to you by Big Papa Smokers. Big Papa is the one-stop shop for anyone interested in barbecue, featuring a comprehensive selection of all American-made grills, spices, sauces, accessories, and everything that you need to make a world-class pit out of a 55-gallon drum. Visit them at BigPapaSmokers.com. And by the Barbecue Guru, makers of automatic pit temperature control devices and pits as well. You can visit them at thebbqguru.com. And by Cook Shack, a leader in pellet and electric style cookers. Visit them for specials online at cookshack.com or call them at 800-423-0698. And by Sucklebusters. Sucklebusters products are preferred by competition barbecue cooks. Texas-based, 100% made in the USA. Introduced first products to Barbecue Central over 7 years ago. You can get in contact with them at sucklebusters.com. Like them on their Facebook fan page, Sucklebusters, or visit thetexasbbqforum.com. Check them out and see why Sucklebusters means bustin' with flavor. And by Stephen DeFranco Jeweler, the official jeweler of the Barbecue Central Show. Visit them at StephenDeFranco.com or call 440-943-2700. And by Butcher Barbecue, makers of injections, sauces, and rubs. Find them online at ButcherBBQ.com. And by Green Mountain Grills, a leader in the pellet grill market. You can find out more about their cookers by visiting GreenMountainGrills.com. And by CookinPellets.com, a maker of high-quality pellets for all of your pellet-driven cookers. You can visit them at CookinPellets.com, or you can find them at Amazon.com as well.
This is Rennie Knopf with ChampionshipBBQ.tv, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, folks, greetings and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. Broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, live tonight. Greg Rempe, happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday. You want to jump in tonight? More than happy to have you and lots to talk about. A phone call, 216-220-0966. You can also email the show, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Everything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't get the newsletter. Coming up in about 13 minutes from now, my embedded Texas barbecue reporter, expert extraordinaire, the pitmaster of Rogue Cookers, Doug Scheiding, joins me. Doug put in a... Does anybody else hear that? Is it just me? Do you hear it? I want to say it, because if you don't, I want to ruin it for you. But if you hear it, just say, I hear it. I'll give you 3 seconds of silence. Anybody else hear that? No, I hear it. I don't like it. That's going to drive me up the wall. That's all right. We'll continue forward. Doug put in a, I don't want to say precarious situation, but he was lining up. I don't want to pull back the curtain too much, but let's just say over the weekend, Doug weighs in with what's really happening in Texas, and we were actually trying to line up a different gentleman, and, you know, some guys aren't as readily willing to come on the show and talk about how great they are and how many grand championships they've won and so on and so forth. So I said, hey, you know, Doug, if this doesn't pan out, I'm going to need you to jump on and, you know, we can kind of do a little bit of a roundup of Texas barbecue. And he was more than happy to fill in, so I appreciate that. So Doug Scheiding coming up at 9:14. 9:35, the president and CEO of MMA Creative. We will be doing a post-mortem on that first portion of the Sam's Club 2015 series. As time permits, we'll probably talk a little bit of food, World Food Championships as well. So Mike McLeod, 9:35. Then we'll move on to the second hour. Joining me, a pitmaster who is having, dare I say, a pretty nifty year so far. I just won this past weekend out there at the, I believe it was called the California Barbecue Classic, right off the top of my head. He is a sponsor of this show, the man with no shortage of opinions on competition barbecue. Sterling Ball joining us, pitmaster of Big Papa Smokers. And helping me close the show tonight, a fellow with the same last name has graced these internet airwaves a number of times. However, not this guy. But he is in the business of barbecue. He's got a great business going now, kind of ground up and tracking the progress, and now it's ready to go full bore. So I wanted to have him on, talk about the genesis of the barbecue stand and how he put it together and what he's going to be looking to do growth-wise as he opens up and then into the future. He is the owner of the Butcher Barbecue Stand, Levi Bosca, joining me on the show at 10:35 Eastern, 9:35 Central. So, very excited to have Levi. What the hell? I can't say Levi? What the hell? I think I want to say Dave and Lee at the same time, and I get let. Anyway, Levi Bosca will be joining us at 10:35. Excited to talk to him and have him on the show, which perhaps might be the first of many now, since he is in the biz of barbecue. Yes, shout out. All right, folks, right now, make an email mail letter and send it out to every single person in your contacts list. Be sure to, man, I could not talk tonight. I have had 0 drops of alcohol, and I can't believe it. Maybe that's the problem. Make an email, send it to every single contact that you have. Blind Carbon, of course, yourself, but list all the other contacts, send it over, let everybody know that the show is on, make a Facebook post, get it out there on the Twitter, whatever you're doing, LinkedIn, Tumblr, Scrooged, Stomped, Ramped, Drunk, whatever your favorite app is anymore these days. Let them know the show's on, send them to a couple different links. The audio stream can be found at my website, thebbqcentralshow.com. The video portion of this show can be found at the longtime syndication partner of this show, outdoorcookingchannel.com. The specific link, outdoorcookingchannel.com/watch-now. That will get you right to the live feed. So do that. Also, don't forget you can watch this show on Roku specifically. Go to the App Store, download Outdoor Cooking Channel. You can watch from the comfort of your own home. Roku has a bunch of other stuff that's really cool as well. And you can get the after show replays audio-wise on iTunes, which still is the most popular way to get the show. I have a YouTube page. You can get the Outdoor Cooking Channel replays for video as well. The main Barbecue Central website is the clearinghouse of both audio and video replays, so never any reason you should miss anything on the show ever, like I tell you each and every Tuesday. So there you go, 216-220-0966, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Now, the last time I was on live 2 weeks ago, at the very last segment of the show, we had on a guy who generates a lot of controversy, a lot of reaction. Certainly his last appearance, no different. Ronnie Lotz, the proprietor of the Berwyn, Illinois Cigars and Stripes, and he was coming under a tremendous amount of fire for having a two-way mirror inside of the ladies' bathroom. And look, Ronnie has always been good to the show, and at certain points, you know, you teeter the line and you walk the line of, you know, what guests you want to have on and not on. And I got a lot of emails saying, you've crossed the line with Ronnie this time. There's no reason you should be giving him any airtime, this, that, and the other thing. I don't necessarily disagree with that, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that he is absolutely allowed to come on and give his side of the story and what has happened and his view on it. But when it's all said and done in the grand analysis or the final analysis, the fact that whether you know Stars and Stripes or Cigars and Stripes, or if you don't know, and I'm sure the vast majority of people don't know anything about Cigars and Stripes because they don't live in Berwyn, Illinois, and they don't know what's happening unless you're a local, right? So regardless, you can't have two-sided mirrors in women's bathrooms or men's bathrooms for that reason, for that sake. There has to be some kind of, I don't even know if you can assume anything in this life anymore with the proliferation of all the technology that we have. It's so small, it can all be Wi-Fi enabled, it can all be streaming live to 25,000 different places across the U.S. and the world and what have you. But at least there should be an expectation set that when you go to certain areas, changing rooms, bathrooms, things of this nature, that a modicum of privacy is inherent with that. And having a two-sided mirror, whether there was anything behind the mirror at one point or not, and in full disclosure, if you read all of the material that has been written and gone over about this specific item. This video, by the way, I sectioned out Ronnie's video, put it on my YouTube page. No other thing has gotten more views than the Ronnie Lotz interview, believe it or not. But the police came in, they did a thorough search. There was nothing that they found to be devious, underhanded, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't mean you should have a two-sided mirror in the woman's bathroom. Absolutely not. And if you want to get the press away from you, you take it out. You don't talk about how you would rather burn the place down than take out the two-sided mirror. I mean, if you want to stay in business and you want to have a thriving business, maybe you would entertain the thought. But to the point, there was no illegal activity found. A, first and foremost. B, it's a weird choice to want to keep a two-sided mirror in any bathroom. So that's my summation on Ronnie Lotz and that interview and all that stuff. Missed it, you can get it on the archives, both on my show, on the YouTube page, and so forth. It's the only one that's got like 1,600 views in the first 2 weeks I've ever had. I'm going to get to something else in the second hour. Maybe some people didn't even know about it. Well, I'm going to tell you about it. Believe me, you might be surprised that it took place this past weekend. Was it this past weekend? 2 weeks ago, maybe. You might be surprised that it took place. First, before we get to Doug Scheiding, I'm going to talk to you about Fast Eddie's by Cook Shack Pellet Grill. It's a smoker, it's a grill, it's all in one. It's a stainless steel, 100% wood-burning, fire pellet-fed cooker that uses direct and indirect heat up to 800 degrees, believe it or not. It is the only pellet grill on the market that uses char-broiler technology. It features electronically controlled temperature to eliminate large heat fluctuations to dry and shrink meat. Pellet grill can barbecue, grill, bake, roast, sear, and smoke. Cook Shack has two models of pellet grills, the PG-1000 featuring a fully insulated, double-walled, rolled hood for superior heat retention, fuel savings, and maximum cooking performance. PG-500 features a two-way swing lid, pellet drop, and utensil holder. The PG-500 and 1000 have many great features, including 784 square inches of cooking space, easy side-loading pellet hopper, fully automated wood pellet feed system, stainless steel cooking grates on the direct cooking zone that produce killer-looking sear marks, nickel-plated grill on the indirect and top rack, strip bucket, pellet ash washer, 100% stainless steel construction, warming drawer, 40 pounds, 40 of Cook Shack hickory pellets, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Use it all you want. If you don't like it, send it back. Nobody else is giving you that. It is a versatile pellet cooker that adds full flavor to your recipe, including fajitas, ribs, chicken steaks, dessert sides, and large cuts of meat. You can do it all, plus cold smoking as well. Grilling with wood pellets penetrates the food with an intense smoky flavor, locking in that nice smoke flavor that you're looking for right into the food. When you're cooking with wood pellets, the fuel is consistent, smoke even more flavorful than usual. Recipes, how to videos, check out Cook Shack's YouTube channel or the cooking guide on their website. Call Cook Shack at 800-423-0698. That's 800-423-0698. Go ahead and order yours today. Come on. 423-0698, your choice, or buy both, the PG500 and the PG1000. First person to do that shows me the receipt, free bottle of barbecue sauce from me. Come on, what do I say? Support the sponsor. Come on, support the sponsor. All right, here we go. Doug Scheiding out of the break. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here, the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Dave Bosk is in doing taxes. Dave, hate to tell you you're late. Hopefully you filed for an extension. Otherwise, you're going to be paying the piper. Uncle Sam is going to be coming down on you. Seismic and fantastic fashion. Not that I know anything about them. All right, folks, my first guest tonight is officially the Texas correspondent when it comes to anything barbecue, competition, restaurant. It has to do with the Lone Star State that potentially is still looking to secede from the rest of the union. This is the guy you want to go to. He is the pitmaster of Rogue Cookers. He is a winner of the Houston Livestock Rodeo Contest. He is Doug Scheiding, joining us here on the show. Doug, how are you, buddy?
Greg, I'm great. How are you?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Doug. Appreciate the fill-in tonight as I was going off at the top of the show. Kind of filling everybody in on, you and I, mostly you, were trying to put together a different kind of Texas interview, but when we felt it might be going, a little bit not in our favor, I put you in that unenviable task of filling in kind of last second. And certainly no better knowledge base than yourself to come to when we're going to be covering the land of Texas barbecue. So I guess, first, right off the bat, happenings with you, Rogue Cookers. Have you taken any side contract teams on? What's happening in your neck of the woods?
No side contract teams. Still cooking for myself, and then also, with Across the Track, and we're planning to go to the Jack this year as well as the American Royal. So trying to work real hard and take the month of October off and do the San Antonio Rodeo. So all three probably in the span of 4 or 5 weeks.
Do you look forward to that kind of a run?
Well, typically I only do 8 to 10 a year, so that'll be quite a few for me, especially going so far. But I'm looking forward to going to the Royal since I haven't been there, and then been to the Jack once. So absolutely looking forward to going to the big ones.
Doug Scheiding joining me here on the show, pitmaster of Rogue Cookers and the embedded Barbecue Central Texas correspondent. Doug, if you could, I guess, Texas is a big state. It's well known. It's one of the meccas of barbecue. You have the Carolinas, you have Texas, you have Kansas City, you have Memphis, California kind of coming into its own as well. But I guess for the folks that maybe aren't really into the knowledge base and really into the subculture as we are, maybe just kind of like a brief overview of Texas barbecue, not necessarily competition related. We'll get out to here in a second, but how do you view Texas and barbecue as it kind of covers the state as a whole?
Well, brisket is king here, as we like to think. But one of the great events is the Texas Monthly Barbecue Festival that they hold every year, and a lot of the top barbecue restaurants around the state get together in one location, probably 30 or 40, and you can taste all their wares at one time. So we've got barbecue places that have been around for a long time, Louis Mueller's and some of those that and Kreitz's and Smitty's out of Lockhart, which has been deemed by the Texas House and Senate as the barbecue capital of Texas that has 4 good barbecue restaurants. So there's quite a few around. Unfortunately, there's not too many in San Antonio where I live.
Lucky you, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm a little bit of a barbecue snob, as probably barbecue cookers are. So self-admitted.
When you have a publication like Texas Monthly Barbecue and you have somebody running it, the only barbecue editor in the country, and Daniel Vaughn, who has obviously leveraged his expertise to that position, and rightfully so. When they rank the top Texas barbecue places, from your knowledge, do you find that is something that all the restaurants want to be a part of, or is it maybe a little bit more hyped for everybody else outside of Texas, not so much in Texas?
Oh no, it's a big honor to be on that list. They produce a top 50 every year, and for the most part, they get about 80% of it right. So they send out a team of people that go out and visit. Have the unfortunate job of tasting all of this barbecue around the state and go around and taste it. And for the most part, like I say, they get it mostly right.
Doug Scheiding joining me here on the show, talking a little Texas barbecue. Doug, there's probably no bigger name in Texas barbecue right now than Aaron Franklin. He was recently honored with the James Beard Award. I got to imagine when he first opened up the shop in Austin that he wasn't really looking at garnering awards James Beard style, but then also cookbooks and that book success and seeing a whole bunch of TV time. Jimmy Kimmel is obviously a big barbecue guy and has had him on a couple times. He's really riding some kind of wave of success, and when you look at him and when you talk to him, whether it be on this show or you see him on television, I mean, he just seems to be one of the most down-to-earth guys amidst all of the success, has been able to keep such a level head. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think, from the standpoint of he hasn't let the success kind of, go to his head, like you say, and his roots are pretty grounded, and I've met him a couple of times, and I think the last time he was at the Houston Rodeo, actually assisting Tuffy Stone, not this year, but last year, and helped him with his brisket. And I think Tuffy got like third overall in brisket at the Houston Rodeo last year. So he does a good job. And what was it? Bon Appetit said he had the best barbecue in America. And recently, he's been leading the charge against Austin City Council with the whole smoke regulation and things that they're trying to enact for restaurants there. And so he's been leading the charge against that.
What is that exactly? I mean, you read about it, and I guess no better person to get it straight from the mouth from as far as somebody that lives in state. What are they trying to do over there?
Well, they're saying that the nearby residents are, that have been there and haven't complained for many years, now they're complaining about the barbecue smoke that's coming from the restaurants that are in downtown Austin. And so I think he's, within a couple hundred feet of some residents. There's another place that gets some notoriety. It's called La Barbecue. It's a newer restaurant, but Austin is kind of one of those green cities, as they say, keep Austin weird sort of thing. And for some reason they've taken on the challenge of trying to go after Austin barbecue restaurants.
If I was living across from Franklin's Barbecue, I wouldn't be complaining. I would say, hey, I don't want to, don't read too much into this, Aaron, but if you let me sneak in the back and grab a half a pound of brisket every day, I won't go do what I really want to do, which is, be a complainer with the city council and the city government and try and get you guys somehow more regulated. That would probably be a better idea, right?
Right, exactly. It seems like a problem nothing but a few briskets would be able to overcome. But and you'd think living next to a restaurant with that sort of notoriety would make your house a little more valuable.
Yeah, I would imagine, but evidently not. So we'll see how that plays out here over the next weeks and months. Doug Scheiding joining me on the show, by the way, if you're just jumping in, talking a little Texas barbecue. What are you seeing as far as, let's transition a little bit over to the competition side. And I guess before I ask this question, we cover a lot of KCBS on this show. We cover a lot of FBA on this show, obviously trying to get a little bit more Texas in as well. How do you, or what is, in the competition world, how many different sanctioning bodies are in Texas? Are there, multiple? Is it a faction state like Arizona either is or used to be? That was the big knock on Arizona, is there were so many different barbecue factions. What's Texas like these days?
Yeah, it's that way in Texas. There's three main barbecue societies in Texas, and then there's kind of a fourth one that actually I wasn't too familiar with. But of course, there's IBCA. So like they're kind of like the big gorilla. Like this weekend, they've got 10 competitions. 9 are in the state, I think, and 1's in Oklahoma. And then Texas Gulf Coast. Craig Sherry, who's the president of that, they have usually probably 5 to 6 to 8 a month. And then Lone Star Barbecue Society, that's kind of in the heart, Central Texas. And then there's another splinter organization called Central Texas Barbecue Association, and that's actually a little different than the rules are a little different than the other ones. Where I personally don't cook it because, like for ribs, the rib you've got to turn in 2 whole spare ribs, and then you've got to turn in at least 15 bites. So you've got to actually cut your ribs into riblets into individual bites. And you do the same with brisket. So they've got 2 whole slices of brisket and 15 bites or maybe 30 depending on the number of teams. But other than that, the other IBCA, Texas Gulf Coast, and Lone Star, they all have pretty much the same rules, either 7 or 9 ribs or pieces of brisket, and of course the whole half a chicken, which is different than KCBS.
And there's no garnish on the box, right?
No garnish at all. In fact, it's strictly forbidden.
Do you get that, what is it, a little sheet of aluminum foil? Is that standard across those other 3 majors that you were talking about?
Yeah. So, put the aluminum foil, allegedly it's supposed to keep the meat hot, but I think primarily they use it so that it doesn't collect, they can see if saucing is done after you put it in the box, because that's not allowed in Texas. You're not allowed to do anything to the meat once you put it into the box.
Doug Scheiding joining me here on the show. Doug, between the IBCA, the Texas Gulf Coast, and the Lone Stars, are one that is predominantly more popular, or is it really just a matter of where they are and the majority of their contests are? Those seem to be the most popular, regionally-ish, I guess.
Yeah, regionally, Texas Gulf Coast is more Houston-based, so you get a lot of Houston cookers in that. IBCA is somewhat Houston-based, but they have cook-offs throughout the state. And Lone Star is probably in the what's considered the hill country, up to maybe Waco and maybe south of Dallas. So it's kind of the central Texas area, San Antonio, Austin, and Waco. So kind of in that area.
So in a lot of the different sanctioning bodies that we would cover primarily here on the show, there's a lot of pellet cookers. There's a lot of vault or cabinet-style cookers. Obviously, the Jambos are very big in popularity as well, made down there in Texas. Do you find that in the Texas competition scene that it's a similar mix of cookers? Do you have a lot of pellet cookers and cabinet-style cookers, or do you get by with what I guess a lot of people would stereotypically think of Texas as the big steel offset-style cookers?
In Texas, we're men are men, and they love their offset cookers, and I say they because I'm one of the few that cooks on a pellet cooker, and I did that after going to the Jack when I saw so many teams cooking on pellet cookers, but down here, it's mostly offset. Gator Pit is around quite a bit. Jambo is R&O, sponsor of the show. They make quite a few pits and stuff, but when I started cooking on a pellet cooker, one of my good friends said that I gave up my left nut for trading it in and cooking on my pellet cooker.
That is a pretty bold statement to make. Hopefully you didn't actually have to do that. Doug Scheiding joining me here on the show. Doug, as far as trends in Texas, what are you seeing recently?
Well, one of the most recent trends, and I would say this is probably a little influence from KCBS, is that, and to me it's almost blasphemous, but people are starting to sauce their brisket. And the last cook-off I went to, I know that 4 or 5 of the top 10 were saucing their brisket, and which is probably a new trend for us.
Now, when you talk about saucing brisket, I'm sure, and I'm asking for the noobs in the audience, are you talking about somebody's really doing a barbecue sauce, or do they kind of make up a concoction of, whatever reserve au jus they've had, and then also, thin it or keep that, but then add in a little barbecue sauce to keep it kind of a thin barbecue-ish au jus type situation.
Yeah, it would be more of a thin sauce, with Worcestershire, maybe some soy and maybe a little vinegar and the au jus. So I know that a lot of teams are doing that. In fact, there's one cooker, Troy Cresswell of Can't Smoke This, who's been cooking quite a few KCBS because of some of our deficiencies in our Texas scoring system. But he's been cooking KCBS to try to learn what he's doing well, what he's not doing well, because of, you get your scores. And so then he's been coming back and actually been doing much better now that he's been cooking KCBS.
Is there a definitive flavor profile between all three of these sanctioning bodies, or does it vary? And I guess, between one to the next, what are those flavor profiles that seem to be grabbing the judges' attention and getting those top calls? Yeah,
probably. And because, we get, the average Joe off the street that's the judge, it's more regionally based. And so I would say, like in South Texas, where they like a little more Mexican spicy food, that some of the cooks will spice up their flavor profile just a little bit more than what they would if they were cooking in Houston or Central Texas. So that's probably about the only difference. But between the three, IBCA and Texas Gulf Coast and Lone Star, the flavor profiles are pretty much the same, because you'll see the same cookers that'll do well no matter what the competition.
Doug, we've seen and talked extensively about barbecue cooking classes here on the show. Do you find that there's just the same amount of barbecue classes that are being given down in Texas and for those type of sanctioning bodies, or has it not reached the same type of a level?
That would probably be another trend in the last year to a year and a half. Craig Sherry started off doing some barbecue classes, and now there's probably 3-4 that are doing regular. CJ of Mama and Papa's, he's doing classes now. I know Danny Patton has done some classes. So there's several teams now that are actually doing barbecue classes for the general public, and those people are doing well. And so all in all, it's raising the bar for the competition.
I guess that kind of leads into my next question is, there always seems to be a constant back and forth between are the teams that are doing it for a cash grab, or are they really doing it to disseminate the information? And all the ones that I see up here, it's always nothing held back, everything revealed, and I would assume that those classes down there are put on in a similar fashion.
Yes, and in fact, like Craig's, I think he shared everything and all his recipe. I actually took his class last year. CJ does a little different class, and it's a hands-on class. So he has like only 8 participants over a weekend, and they actually bring their pit, and he helps you with your cooking your style and gives you some education about salt and sweet and those sorts of things, some basic things. But some of the cookers aren't familiar with using brown sugar on ribs and those sorts of things, and not on briskets, etc. Because we definitely don't like a sweet brisket down here, that's for sure.
Doug Scheiding is the pitmaster of Rogue Cookers, and he is also the official embedded Texas barbecue expert when it comes to the Barbecue Central show, and you'll see him on this show recurring quite a bit going forward. Doug, always appreciate the time. Again, thanks for the fill-in, and we will talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
There he is, Doug Scheiding, Rogue Cookers. Getting you updated on the haps down in Texas because, remember, Texas, they do have some KCBS contests and so forth, but they do have a number, as we found out, a number of their own sanctioning bodies. And if you get down that way, or maybe you live on top of Texas, which would be Oklahoma, I don't know if a lot of Oklahoma guys venture down into Texas and try and get some of that different stuff worked in. I got to figure if you're cooking KCBS and you got your program down, maybe you don't want to risk going down into somewhere else that might not like a sweet brisket, right? But hey, you never know. You got to bug up your nose or hair up your you-know-what, and you want to try something else out, that might be the place to go and try them out. They sound a little faction at the moment, but you never know how things grow into the future. So thanks again to Doug Scheiding from Row Cookers to give us a update on the happenings down in Texas. And as I mentioned before, Doug was part of the team, or the head cook that won the 2015 Houston Livestock and Rodeo Barbecue Competition cooking, or the barbecue event. The cook-off is what I'm trying to say, folks. All right, folks, let me talk to you quickly about Suckle Busters before we get to Mike McLeod from MMA Creative. It's preferred by competition barbecue cooks, number one. Texas-based. We were just talking Texas. Made in the USA. Products have won hundreds of industry awards, including 2 first place, the American Royal Barbecue Sauce Contest. New product from Suckle Busters? Yeah, how about Suckle Busters Honey Barbecue Glaze and Finishing Sauce? If you follow me on Instagram, you knew that I used that stuff just this past weekend. Good. Got to be honest. It's based on Suckle Busters' award-winning honey barbecue sauce. It's a thin glaze and finishing sauce made especially for competition ribs and chicken. I use it on chicken. Super sweet, not spicy, super red, yeah. And it uses a special American paprika for that bright red color achievement. Brush it on 5 to 10 minutes cooking. It leaves a glossy red sheen on the meat and an extra layer of sweet flavor. Take your competition barbecue chicken and ribs to a whole nother level. Available at the local barbecue store or online at sucklebusters.com. That's sucklebusters.com. If you would like to try a bottle free for yourself, send me an email right now. In the subject line, write Cavs are winning. Cavs are winning. I'm following the score on ESPN.com as we watch. They're up by 3. Cavs are winning. Send it to Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Cavs are winning. The subject line, and you can get a free bottle of the honey barbecue glaze and finishing sauce from Suckle Busters. And the website, sucklebusters.com, if you want to try it on your own without trying to win. Just forego the excitement and buy a case for yourself. Dan would appreciate it. I would appreciate it for Dan as well. Let me know. All right, we are back with Mike McLeod, MMA Creative, coming up out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Winner of the sauce, Don G. He never wins anything. He wins everything. Don G wins it. Don, you know the drill. If you haven't already, let me look first. Yeah, if you haven't already, and you didn't, send me your shipping info, and I will get you a bottle of the honey barbecue glaze from Suckle Busters. Thank you, good sir. All right, joining me now, President, a CEO, a creator of the World Beef Championship, the Sam's Club, all that good stuff. You see him on this show a couple, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a year. We race over to the hotline and welcome back in friend of the show, Mike McLeod, joining us. Mike, how are you, bud?
I'm good, Greg. How are you?
Absolutely, Vance. I guess I'm kind of sweating out what appears to be another Cleveland Cavalier victory here in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, but
good luck with that. I'm not watching it, so I hope your team wins.
It's a nail biter, I'm telling you. So, all right, Mike, so lots to get to. We've been chasing you down here for the last couple weeks and finally able to secure you here at least for a few minutes. I guess, you're kind of a guy that travels here and there. Are you anywhere exotic tonight, or are you back at home base?
I think I've gotten really successful at pinning you down when I'm in home base.
Oh, yeah? Very good.
Yeah, I'm in Nashville. You got me there again.
Best place to be, Nashville.
But it's a rare occurrence. This is barbecue month, so I'm going to be in about 4 different cities over the next 4 different weekends. It'd be crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So aside from this past week when we had another local, the last time a Sam's event took place with that first regional final that took place, and so I kind of use that as a benchmark of at least a first portion of the Sam series coming to an end as we look forward to the culmination of the finals in Bentonville in October. As the guy that's kind of in charge and overseeing it and gauging how successful it's been going from start to where it is right now, how are you seeing it, and how do you kind of look at it from a year over year kind of a perspective?
Well, we've had a few wrinkles this year that we didn't anticipate. I'll be honest about that, but from an operational standpoint and from an execution standpoint, it gets better and better. We get it smoother, and we get it just more fluid for the teams and for the judges and for Sam's Club, and it works really well right now. I hope it's a program that will work for the next 5 to 10 years. So we're very pleased. We're 1/5 of the way done, over 1/5 of the way done, and it's hard to believe that because it feels like just yesterday or last week that we started. So it's amazing how quickly time flies.
Absolutely, time flying. When you talk about wrinkles, like anything that you can talk about publicly?
Well, anytime you have you kick off a new season, you're looking at new locations, and you're going into areas that you may or may not have been into. You have some local challenges, and we had a couple of little permitting policy issues that popped up along the way early on, and stumped our toe a little bit here and there. And I would probably be delighted to leave it at that instead of going into all the details. But most people who are close know how hard that we've worked, how hard the tour has worked, the personnel on the tour, and how hard the KCS staff has worked to make sure that barbecue is front and center, and it's well respected, and it's an all-American thing. So we're continuing to push that forward and trying to deliver a great series that with a lot of cash prizes and a lot of prestige attached to it.
Is one of those things that flag situation?
You just couldn't let it go, could you?
Well, I mean, look, I don't want to sound like a homer.
One of those things.
I don't want to sound like a homer, right? I mean, obviously, Sam's is a partner with the show. I have McD on the show regularly, well before he was even involved with Sam's Club. And when I saw the goings on and all the hubbub, I'm like, man, are you kidding me? This Mike McDermott, especially, a guy that is traveling and has invested so much time and energy within the industry, and then he's doing all this other restaurant stuff and so forth. So, I mean, this is a guy that's just a food guy in general. How are you going to question the love of country because he's trying to abide by rules and regulations? I mean, these things are going to happen, and as you said, maybe it's a toe stub, maybe it's, what are you going to do if you're trying to follow the letter of the law and this is the way you're interpreting it? It doesn't mean that you're also anti-American, right?
I don't know a single person in the barbecue industry, including McDermott and everyone that was there on site when the situation occurred, that is not un-American. This industry is probably the most American industry of any pastime that you can follow. And, we just had a couple of misunderstandings, and then a couple of domino effects that led to some publicity getting out of hand before it could be contained. And once we were able to get all the parties back on the same, including the city and the teams that were impacted and our policy and our stance on it. Everyone kind of realized that this was just an unfortunate situation, that they got blown out of proportion, which is typical in the media world. And you run into those occasions every now and then, and we just happen to run into one.
Isn't it kind of, it's not funny, but I'm going to use the word funny because I can't think of a better word at the moment, but 10 or 15 years from now, nobody would have ever heard about this. But because we're so electronically available and everything can get out to everybody at every second of every day, it's almost hard to react to things in a proper way because of how quickly things can get run out and people can start making up their own minds without all the facts, right?
It is a blessing and a curse that we have social media and things travel as fast as they do these days. I have become a big empathetic or sympathetic person to police departments, for example, and even city offices, administrators who have to, something happens in their city or something happens that's unfortunate in a police incident, and the social media realm and then the traditional media realm takes off. It's like a fire out of control, and you're trying to do your homework, you're trying to do your research to get all the facts so that when you do take the podium and get in front of a microphone, you say what you need to say and report what's relevant to the situation without jeopardizing it further. So I've become a very sympathetic PR person for anyone who has to live in that environment and has to deal with situations that just get that start raging out of control while you're doing your homework.
Mike McLeod, President and CEO of MMA Creative, joining us here on the show, talking about some Sam's Club. Mike, I ask you every year, and it's not like I'm looking for the answer that I'm finally asking the question for, but you've seen Sam's Club now exist for 5 years. How long has it been now? Is it over? Is it 7 years now? 5 years?
I think we're in our fifth year.
Fifth year, yeah. So it's a proven successful situation for Sam's, for barbecue, for the teams that are taking place in it. Do you foresee a time where Sam's is going to be ready to step up to like a multi-year commitment to this thing, or is it still going to be a year-to-year thing, at least for the time being?
It's an interesting question. I think they have a multi-year commitment to it, but we always review it every year, and we always talk about it. It's like any kind of great marketing program, or even like hiring a sports agent, right, or an athlete. A franchise will make a 5-year deal with a Marcus Mariota or whomever, but every year you're going to look at the performance of that quarterback or that athlete, and you're going to make determinations on, is it helping the franchise move forward? Is it successful? Is it what we expected? And I think that's what we're doing. We help Sam's Club. That's what they're doing, and then we help them review it and analyze it and make sure that we're meeting their objectives every year. The thing that scares me with Sam's Club or any corporate sponsor that we have the fortune of working with is change in leadership. If there's ever change at the top or in the decision-making position of any company, say it's a McCormick's or a Smithfield or Southern Pride or Kingsford or any of those kinds of big names in our industry, you stand the chance of losing a time-tested or consistent program because someone else wants to come in and make their mark, to want to go in a different direction, and they have that opportunity. So that's probably the biggest thing that I keep my eye on when we're dealing with corporations is leadership. Because once we can get in and we can make the case for barbecue, and we can build a program that delivers on the objectives that a company's trying to reach in barbecue, the program usually works. And we may have to tweak it a little bit, may have to adjust it a little bit there. But the program generally, by and large, works because this industry is a very passionate, it's very growing, it's a very impactful industry. And keeping companies right in the middle of it, thanks to consistent leadership, is one of the things that we try to do.
Mike McLeod joining me here on the show. Mike, as we transition off of Sam's and into the other baby in the crib that you have. World Food Championships, obviously, that'll be happening again this year. How are we ramping up to the big coup de grace in Las Vegas right now at this point of the year?
Well, we're ramping up very well. As you, I hope you know, we've moved it from Las Vegas to Kissimmee, Florida, and the baby is walking. It's walking very well now, and I think in another year or two it's going to be running. And we will have 500 teams this year, Greg, which will be a record. I don't know how many other competitions other than maybe the Royal or Memphis in May that have that many teams that are competing, and no one has that many teams competing in the numerous categories that we do. We already have 175 of those team spots committed, and so we're over 35-36% to a full field. We are getting very integrated into the Central Florida business market. There's a lot of great food companies right there, from Second Harvest, they're the largest one in Florida, to Publix, to Tupperware, to Darden restaurants. There are just a lot of food centric and reasons to be there for us that we're just really excited, and that community is already embracing us. I think the competitors this year and our industry in general is going to see a whole new level of commitment and community when they walk into Kissimmee and Osceola County versus the excitement and energy that they saw in Las Vegas. But it's just going to be different there because people are just so excited, and there's a doormat waiting for everyone. So we're very very pumped and in a very fortunate position right now.
All right, Mike, so obviously I showed my ass a little bit on the last question, and I didn't know it was moved off of Las Vegas, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I did. I'll call myself out when I have to.
All of our video, that's okay, to your credit, all of our videos still shows Vegas. And people had such a great time there, and I think it's not necessarily just because of the city, but because of the competitors and the passion in this industry. They just love going to that event.
Yep.
And I've never seen such a constituency come together and galvanize around one central theme like they have around what we've built with the World Food Championship. So, no worries. I understand why you say every now and then I make that mistake too. I'll mention Las Vegas when I need to be mentioning Florida as much as possible.
So moving it out, is that just a strategic decision? Were they trying to lure you out into Florida and getting out of Vegas? I mean, what's the mindset there?
There were numerous factors that went into it. There were several communities, several cities that were trying, once they understood what we were and they went to see what we were, and they saw that after the third year we weren't going away, that in fact we were actually getting bigger. We had offers to go numerous places, and the reason that Florida worked well for us is I felt like it would be well served to be on the East Coast for a lot of the Southeast teams that exist, and the community area that we got approached by was just very strong. I'm a small town community guy. I grew up in a city with 30,000 people, so I'm used to the Chamber of Commerce wanting to take an interest. I'm used to local leaders being involved, and they had that offer to us. But the whole area of Kissimmee and specifically Celebration, where we're going to be, and Osceola County, where we're going to expand into, gives us the ability to spread our wings a little bit. It's very family-centric, so people can bring their kids. They can go to the championship, and then they can go to Disneyland and go to SeaWorld and other places like that to add to their experience. So it can be a competition plus vacation type thing, and we thought that was just a good development for us. And from a land grab standpoint, we're not really locked in. We're going to be able to activate in the years to come in numerous facilities that are world class in that whole Central Florida area. So we think this is the first step into a giant leap for the World Food Championships.
Well, it sounds like an absolutely great new destination for World Food Championships. Of course, second only to what could only have been a better option, and perhaps because we have the Republican National Convention, it wasn't up for bid. Would have been, of course, Cleveland, Ohio, Mike. I mean, come on, were we not even in the rut? Did we not make a bid, or we didn't try to? We love to eat here. I mean, we're fat up here.
You're gonna love this. We now have a strategic relationship with the Fabulous Food Show in Cleveland.
Yeah,
and it happens to be the week it starts ramping up the week that we start ramping down. So Cleveland, Ohio can't have two big food events at the same time. So we made a strategic relationship with them. Our champion from this year's World Food Championship is going to be seen for the very first time and give a speech for at the Cleveland Fabulous Food Show this year. So we'll be there. We'll be in your neck of the woods right after we give out $100,000.
All right, sounds good. I'll be there to get the first interviews and creep on free food. Absolutely. Mike McLeod is the president and CEO of MMA Creative, of course, the Creator World Food Championships. Mike, appreciate the extra time tonight, and we will catch up again soon.
Sounds great. Thanks a lot, Greg.
All right, there he is, Mike McLeod. We're out of Las Vegas, everybody. I mean, it's not often, certainly not unheard of, but not often that you hear places deciding that, yeah, we're going to kick it out of Las Vegas. I mean, typically that's a place that you might aspire to. But look, I mean, I've heard over the years that maybe people weren't getting the space that they thought they should have. Not World Food related, but maybe Las Vegas wasn't giving people the space that they thought they should have. I mean, who knows? And now it's Kissimmee, Florida. A lot of space out there, a lot of way to grow. Of course, Fabulous Food Show partnership, which I found out about. Yeah, baby. I'm going to go to Fabulous Food Show. Let me talk to you about the Guru. That's right, the Barbecue Guru. Makers of automatic pit temperature controlled devices. Look, if you're going to buy one, if you thought you're a lady, thought about getting one for your man for Father's Day that's coming up, take advantage of this. Don't buy it from anybody else. These are the creators of this technology. Now, you may be a busy working professional like me, or perhaps you're constantly on the run with kids doing errands, and quite frankly, you just don't have the time to sit around and tend pit temperature. The Guru allows you to throw on a pork butt or a brisket or a couple slabs of ribs. Then you're off to do whatever it is you need to get done, and the Guru maintains that pit temperature you set it. There are currently 4 different, well, probably even more than 4 currently, but 2 of the most popular items that we talk about here on the show. The CyberQ Wi-Fi. Everybody's got some type of a convenience device out there, whether it be a smartphone, a tablet, laptop, computer, netbook. If you can connect to Wi-Fi, you can use the CyberQ Wi-Fi automatic pit temperature control device. You can control up to 2 different cookers. You can take the 4 different internal meat temperatures. It's fabulous. The other end of the spectrum for $149 is the Party Q. That's right. It's the easiest point of entry into the pit temperature control device realm. It's a self-contained package. It runs on AA batteries. It can go from cooker to cooker to cooker. It's fabulous. Now, if you're in the market for a cooker, look no further than the Onyx Oven. It's been winning on the competition circuit as well as in backyards all over the country for years now. It's a fully insulated unit, holds a ton of meat, accommodates the half and the full pans for food service, and it works seamlessly with any of the Barbecue Guru pit temperature control devices, of course. So do yourself a favor, head on over to thebbqguru.com, check out their products. If you have any questions about what to order, call them directly. Don't be afraid. 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. They'll make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. 800-288-GURU or the website thebbqguru.com. The Barbecue Guru is a breakthrough in barbecue technology. We're back to wrap it up right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
Hey, this portion of the show being brought to you by the this portion of the Barbecue Central Show being brought to you by Sam's Club National Barbecue Tour. That's right, we're just talking about 31 cities, $500,000 in cash to be won. The next stop this Saturday, May 16th, 2015 in St. Charles, Missouri. That was a regional final place at one point. This is a local qualifier that feeds the top 6 teams in the Midwest City, Oklahoma regional final. To find out more about the Sam's Club Barbecue Series, check results, or to register your team to compete if there are still open spots, you can visit kcbs.us. That's kcbs.us/Sam's Tour. All right, thanks again to Mike McLeod for joining me this past segment talking about Sam's Club Barbecue Tour. Certainly appreciate that and the candor, especially talking about the wrinkles, as he put it. Problem with social media today, boys and girls. You got no way to wrangle a hold of it if it starts to fly out of control. And then where are ye? Up the creek without a paddle. You got to combat it with your own social medias. You got to be like that damn kook Ronnie Lotz. Bobby Trotz. Owner of Cigars and Stripes, Berwyn. And John Dawson was right. I meant a two-way mirror, not two-sided. Thank you for calling me out, John. I can always count on you to point out all of my shortcomings. Thank you. All right, we'll step away real quick. We'll reload for the second hour. 2 great guests in the second hour. We'll recap that at the top. Also, we'll get into some second takes. There was a barbecue contest that took place. Really big one. I'm going to guess a whole bunch of people never knew about it that took place here a couple weeks ago. But I'll tell you about it. It's odd. Cavs a winner. 1 game from getting those pesky Bulls out and going into the conference finals, the Eastern Conference Finals, which I think we could win too. So. Anyway, you got to get through the Bulls first. We're hurt, we're hobbling, but we are 1 win away. I'm going to refresh my drink. I suggest you do the same. We'll see you back here in about 35, 45 seconds. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network.
Hey, this is Helen Paradise from SoCal, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how you going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish, what?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shake a face.
I'm shaking like a dog shitting peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
All right, just like that, we are back in the second hour, ladies and gentlemen. You have found the Barbecue Central Show. Hey, we talk about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling here. We broadcast live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. A winner tonight in the basketball series. Thank goodness. Who knows what we're doing in baseball with below. Or as this guy would say...
Oh, no! We suck again!
In baseball. Not a joke. Evidently, there was a big hubbub at the end of the game right before the show started, 9 o'clock. There was fisticuffs, I think. People kicking each other. That's about right for NBA basketball. Let's kick each other. I want to kick you. All right. Still to come on the show tonight at 10:14. Some upstart cook, Sterling Ball from the Big Papa Smokers team. And helping me close out the show tonight at 10:35, a barbecue stand open new guy, Levi Bosco, will be going as well. You might recognize that last name. Looking forward to my talk with Levi. Folks, the 2015 Sam's Club Barbecue Series rolled into that right? I didn't change that. Man, this is so ridiculous. My memory wasn't so bad, I wouldn't remember how much I hate myself. The Sam's Club rolled through Overland Park, Kansas, this past week. Jeez, oh, Pete. I mean, sometimes you got to make sure you change the wording in the script.
Get that big stuff out of here.
This is a local qualifying event. Top 6 teams move on to the Midwest City, Oklahoma regional final. That takes place on September 26th. And moving on, in grand championship fashion, Thump and Strum Barbecue, 705 pence. That's a pretty high score right there. 700 plus. Congratulations to that. A reserve grand champ, or as we call it, second place, Smooth Smoke. Third place, Smokin' Babes Barbecue. Fourth place, Sirius Q Barbecue. Fifth place, Dirt Road Barbecue. And rounding out the top 6, Smokin' Bad Habit. The next Sam's Club event will be, as I mentioned earlier, this coming weekend, May 16th, in St. Charles. Is that Missouri? St. Charles, Missouri? Is that Mississippi? I think it's Missouri. It's a local qualifier. Good luck to all those competing. For those that like the points drop between first and sixth, again, first place was 700.5. Yeah, I was right. It's Missouri. Look at me. I knew it. Why did I put M? Man. Having a day of it now, folks. Having a day. 700.5 takes it. Sixth place, 681. So almost a solid 19-point swing between 1 and 6. So a pretty sizable gap, comparatively speaking. We've seen it be as little as 5 and 6 points. So 700-plus score overall takes the grand champion. I mean, that's huge, huge points. So congratulations to Thump and Strum for winning the local. And they'll be moving on to the regional final along with 5 other teams as well. The current top 5 in the KCBS, if you're wondering, Travis Clark and the Clark Crew Barbecue team is sitting atop the leaderboard right now. Hey, look at this guy. I know him. The American Dream Barbecue team. 300 points behind Travis Clark. Tommy Houston, Checkered Pig, Hewin, Stewin, and Bruin, 4th place. And Darren Worth, Iowa Smoky D's, currently in 5th place. 2125 is the leader. 1914 American Dream. 1863 Checkered Pig. 1837 Hewin, Stewin, and Bruin. And 1809 Iowa Smoky D's. And that's your top 5 there for the KCBS. All right, so I told you in the first hour. Actually, let me make sure that I get over to my full results as well for my next guest. Oh, where is that one? Man, you know it's getting later in the year when you have plenty of barbecue competitions going off during the course of a weekend. I mean, remember in February, it's like 3, 2, skip a week. I'm left up to my own devices to figure out what to talk about. Not anymore. I mean, you get into this part of the season, man. It's all. You know, I have to remember, was it 3 years ago now? Could it be 3 years ago? When I was at the, well, yeah, I mean, it's got to be 3 years ago. At the when I was at the inaugural first time Kingsford Invitational barbecue contest, where they flew such barbecue socialites out to St. Louis and then bust us roughly 8 hours to the ripe old middle of nowhere, better known as Bell, Missouri, where their one of their manufacturing plants was, to watch the pomp and circumstance of the Kingsford Invitational unfold in its inaugural sense. Set out on a nice cow hill, top teams in the industry competing for a $50,000 take-all, and it was filmed for television, and there was a lot of hype and lead up to it and all that stuff. And then, last year, hey, folks, in case you missed it, the Kingsford Invitational's done over and competed like 2 weeks ago. Anybody know about that? No. I mean, I'm sure some people saw the Facebook post and stuff like that, but did anybody even think about it? Anybody even know who won it? I know who won it. Tuffy Stone won it. Saw it. I don't understand what Kingsford is doing with their Kingsford Invitational barbecue competition. I at least fancy myself kind of a decent marketer, trying to press interest, in this show or my guests or whatever the case may be by doing a number of things. I didn't see one thing from Kingsford or get an email to talk about it or have somebody on or promote this. They do nothing. Who even was there? Who was competing besides Tuffy Stone? I don't know. Is this something that's going to be on later? If you're not going to tell any about it, make sure that there's no social media and that there's no anything, so you don't at least know that it happened, but you have no results. Can I go to Kingsford.com and get Kingsford Invitational results? I don't see it anywhere. It's crazy. And even last year, it wasn't that well talked about and promoted. I don't think I even saw it on television. Are they still taping it for television? It's beyond bizarre because they're giving away a huge prize. I mean, if I'm going to, like I've said, I think, and I'm the only one that thinks like this, of course, but this is just me. It's my world. It's my show. Why not take part in the competition that's a take-all? Like if you got a shot to take home $50,000 or $100. Look, I get it. I'm opening up a can of worms, especially for my next guest, who believes in paying down and across, 50,000 spots. I mean, I get it. But to have not promoted it at all, or to have not locked it away in a shed somewhere so nobody knew about it, is bizarre. And who knows if anybody's even going to get to see it. I mean, don't you want to see? Don't you want to hear? I mean, I've reached out to Tuffy Stone. I don't even think he knows what he's allowed to talk about or not talk about. Who knows? Kingsford, I mean, come on, man. I know people want to peg me as a Kingsford hater, and I'm not. But, again, beyond bizarre. Beyond bizarre. Folks, I'm going to talk to you about David Bosco of Butcher Barbecue. Look at this guy. Doing it again and again and again and again, over and over again. For the last month or so, I've been talking to you about the grilling oils. Show of hands in the instant chat. How many people have actually nutted up, taken my sweet-ass advice, gone to butcherbbq.com, and bought the grilling oil and loved it? Of course you have. Roll call. This stuff is great. Dave, is it available in the bigger bottles yet so I can place my next order? Like the 5-gallon drums. I like Steakhouse too, Matt G. Absolutely. Oh, come on, Dave. Let's go. We're sending it all the way to Cleveland. I want to buy big. I buy big or I go home. Wait, buy big or don't? Whatever that saying is. I want to buy big. That's the bottom line. So here's what you do. You want to get your grilling oils, of course. You want to get your injections, the beef, the pork, the prime, the bird booster, the open pit pork injection, all that good stuff. You get that at butcherbbq.com. Now, perhaps you're looking for a go-to rub or sauce. Well, good news. You can stay right at butcherbbq.com and get your fix. Got a full line of award-winning rubs. Of course, one of my favorite rubs is 50% of what I have affectionately referred to and coined and phrased the North Coast offense, the honey barbecue rub. Love it. Of course, you got the steak and brisket rub. Then you have a premium rub as well, formulated to work with injections, a good 1-2 punch. Of course, the sweet barbecue sauce. If you don't make your own sauce or you're out of some sauce, you're looking for a different sauce, whatever. Try Butcher's Barbecue sweet barbecue sauce. I mean, look, nobody's more picky than me when it comes to sauce. This is stuff that I absolutely love. We'll drink right out of the bottle. I've done it. It's on video archive. Delicious. There's no liquid smoke in there. Here's what I say. Get a box of 6. You'll be surprised how fast it goes. You'll be thanking me that you got 6 because one, boom, it's gone. No worries about breaking the bank when it comes to shipping either. Items totaling up to $55. Ship at $8.50. Between $55 and $200. Ship at $9.75. Anything over $200 ships free. So, as I tell you each and every week, buy $200.01 of things. Get the free shipping. Get the free shipping. All right, head on over to butcherbbq.com. Stock up now. Always trust your butcher. We're back with Sterling Ball right after this.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, this portion of the Barbecue Central Show is being brought to you by Green Mountain Grills, manufacturers of some of the best pellet cookers on the market today. If you're looking for a big cooker to hold a ton of meat, they got one for you. If you're looking for a medium-sized cooker, yeah, they got you covered there. How about something to take down the tailgates? Coming soon. Well, they got you covered there, too. They can also supply you with some really awesome wood pellets. Check them out at greenmountaingrills.com. That's greenmountaingrills.com. Hook yourself up with one. I love mine. You could love yours as well. My next guest, a proud sponsor of this show, competitive barbecue cook, captain of industry, and here to recount the win at the West Coast Barbecue Classic, the pitmaster of Big Papa Smokers, Sterling Ball, joining us here on the show. And I should say affectionately, my favorite Sterling, of course. Sterling, how are you, bud?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Sterling. Appreciate you making time for the show this evening. On the heels of a Cleveland Cavaliers win, no less. Can you believe it? I guess you can't. You there? Hello? Hello? No Sterling. He was there, I swear. He was there.
Get that big stuff out of here.
I hate it when I go through the big intros and then, they drop off. This damn cell phone service. Don't people have hard lines anymore? Way of the dinosaur.
Hello?
Sterling.
We lost you.
Hey, there he is. Get out of the ravine and stick that finger in the air. Get the wind right. All right, so big win this past weekend, of course. We're talking with Sterling Ball, the pitmaster of Big Papa Smokers. Long Beach, California, home of Snoop Dogg. 57 team. Is he Long Beach, right? He's a Long Beach guy, right? Snoop Dogg?
I think so.
No, you guys are like best friends, I heard.
No, sorry.
Not really? Okay.
I'm too old for Snoop Dogg.
All right, so 57 teams take part in a Long Beach, California competition, the West Coast Barbecue Classic. So as you look over the field and you look over your particular cooking wares over the weekend, how do you kind of evaluate where you shook out?
Well, I think that usually, you sit down at a contest and you say, oh, my chicken was great, my pork was less than great, and that usually means your pork hits. Well, pretty much the judges saw it how we saw it this time, which is kind of crazy.
And roughly 0.6 away from a 700 mark. I mean, so the scoring overall was very high too.
Yeah, well, there's some, you know, out here in California, we have to put up with the stigma from the rest of the country that there's not a lot of good cooks here, and I just would love them to come out and cook because there's some really good teams, and the competition was very, very tough. And you know, there was 2 180s in chicken. There's a perfect in brisket.
Yeah.
It's just, I think Steph, my partner in crime, West Coast Offense, he won ribs and he had a 17944.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, I like it. You know, Justin came out and cooked from Lucky Q to Mesquite, which is a lot of the California teams. And I think he'd probably tell you that it's better barbecue than we get credit for.
Do you? Is there still a stigma of California teams?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, on Arlie did the promotion for this, and guys on his Facebook page here goes, you know, teach us Californians barbecue and what real barbecue is, and I think that's pretty funny.
Well, I think perhaps that's, you know, well, it's the you're from Cleveland and the river still catches fire, right? I mean, it's one of those things that maybe isn't going to go away. I think when people actually stand to do a monicum of research and see where California competition barbecue has come, especially over the last 3, 4, 5 years, you can travel out east and do just as good as you would if you traveled north and west.
Porketeer's got a 180 in brisket at the Jack this year, and it's all right. Listen, what it is barbecue. I think is elevated everywhere. And I think it's harder than when I started. I think it's more detail-oriented. I think that everything's a little more sophisticated, a little more complicated.
I talked,
and certainly more expensive.
I talked with Scott Nelson a couple weeks ago on the show after a win that he had, and we got into. And you've talked about how competition barbecue has evolved into being a rich man's sport, and I've said, and I asked Scott, I said, hey, when the top teams are winning and they're using Wagyu briskets and specialty pork shoulders and specialty ribs and free range, blue-eyed chickens and whatever the case may be, these are all things that are going to inherently cost more. And is there a divergence from how it was and how it's going to need to be? And maybe more to the point, are judges now becoming accustomed to having the higher end cuts? So they don't know who's cooking a Wagyu and who isn't, technically. But because they're used to tasting it so much, if somebody's turning in a prime or a CAB or whatever, that now their mouth is being able to tell a difference as well.
Well, I think so. I think that you can cook a great prime and a great cab, but I think that you can cook a great Wagyu a lot easier. And I think that with Wagyu, I think there's a lot of teams that feel like they can't win unless they cook it, and maybe they're not cooking it very good, and so they can't win when they cook it. So it's a little tough, but I can tell you when I look at the standings, most of the top teams are cooking Wagyu. I mean, and most of them are cooking Snake River. I mean, that's what I cooked this last week.
You pull a 180 in chicken. What are you doing with chicken right now?
Honestly, it's the West Coast offense. It's
now
Steph's,
look, that's
Steph's rubs with my rubs, and it's really paying attention to the tenderness. What's your
West Coast offense?
It's got great flavor. I mean, I think we're cooking great chicken. I really like it a lot.
What's your West Coast offense? I mean, West Coast offense is tongue in cheek, and it's you and it's Steph. But what's your West Coast offense?
No, actually, it's really. I mean, last weekend we had six GCs, so it's not. I mean, it's a lot of blending between Sweet Seduction, pecan, peppered cow, Little Louis, Sweet Money, sometimes Double Secret, some Hallelujah. And, the chicken, it's a lot of Sweet Seduction and Sweet Money. Some people are running pecan with it. Some are running seasonal stuff. So, I mean, that's pretty much, there's no, it's so funny how Steph and I did this, because we're just buds cooking next to each other who started playing with each other's rubs and said, "Boy, this really are complimentary," and really hit. And it's won all over the country. And that's another thing when you talk about flavor from barbecue. I've said this before. I think Rod Gray broke down the barriers of that with his version, of Luzog, Cimarron Dock, and Smoking Guns Hot. And I think that's certainly still there. But I think that Steph and my stuff is all over the country. I mean, teams are winning.
You're a couple California-based guys, businesses, rub makers, purveyors, whatever you want to call it. In your wildest dreams, did you think it would take such a foothold into at least the barbecue competition area? I mean, obviously it's seen success in backyards and in the restaurant chains, as I talk about on the Read, but solely in the competition, are you surprised that it's really taken such a stronghold?
Absolutely. Anybody who did, we're selling tons of it. And, then we also, BJ's Brewhouse, which is coming to Cleveland, I think, they have 165 stores. They're using, Sweet Money and Desert Gold and Hallelujah and Cucaracha and like a latte. So, it's in the restaurants. It's all over the place. No, but I didn't. And I never thought at my age that I'd be doing this in barbecue either. I turned 60 this year. I recorded my first CD at 59, and I'm out 25 weeks cooking. It's kind of funny. But I got to tell you what made West Coast offense. It was Iowa. Okay, the emergence of Iowa. Scott Nelson came out to California at Wildemar, got my first bottle of Double Secret, went back and won with it, and told everybody about Big Papa Smokers. And teams like Tippy Canoe and Big T's and Lucky's, and then Darren got on, and I think that Darren has been an unbelievable ambassador for us, and I think that we have played a significant part in his flavor. And I think right now everyone would say that Darren or Donnie or whatever are probably, they're animals. Darren especially is such a big game hunter. He does so well in the majors. It's really impressive. But those Iowa guys talked about it. And so it really was California by way of Iowa.
When you are putting together barbecue rubs, how did you get a blend going, and then how long does it take from, let's call it the initial recipe or version 1 to, hey, it's good enough, let's take it to the market and see who wants to buy?
Well, I learned by breaking down a garlic pepper that I really liked, and then I tried to figure out Lowry's, and that became Double Secret, and I wanted big sea salt, and so it just it goes from there. And now I work with Jerry Bonner, who's the head food guy at Old World, and we have great sessions talking and stuff, and we have some new products coming that are really exciting. But I've got every spice in the world in my pantry, and I wanted a jalapeno salt, and so we played around with that, and Hallelujah's the result there. So it's just kind of getting an idea of what you want to do, and then kind of going for it, and then it gets easier as you go along.
Sterling Ball joining me here on the show. BigPapaSmokers.com is the website if you want to check it out here when we're talking. I diverged off of chicken this past weekend, and I apologize, Sterling. You had referenced paying attention to tenderness was key. How do you do that specifically? Are you squeezing it and touching it? Is it time? Is it temperature? What?
All right, well, look, here's one of the things. The greatest thing about barbecue is whenever you see something, and especially on radio or on a forum, there's 10 people who say you're wrong, and, So, I know what it is for me. And to me, the number one thing, there's so many people over-trim their chicken where there's no meat left of the bone, and if you did a cross-section of it, it would look like an M. And their chicken, when I taste it, has a tendency to be a little tougher. And so we want to make sure we get the vein out there. We cut the little bottom flat, but we're not trimming a whole bunch off that chicken. Okay, and it's getting more tender. The other thing is I think you're really Russian roulette if you put it to like 165 where it's done and it's super tender and it's juicy where juice is dripping all over. I think a lot of judges think it's not done. So it's trying to find that right point where it's moist and it's not tough, but it isn't exploding when they bite into it. So that has, and you know, you can't purely go by internal temperature because your cooking time and temperature determines a finishing internal temperature too. Just like with brisket, if you cook brisket for 15 hours, it's done at and don't foil, it's done at like 185, 190. I mean, we put our briskets on at 6 in the morning, okay? And they take 4.5 hours, and they're 212 when they're ready, 211. So you can't just go by temperature.
And
so it's a lot of practice. Look, I wasn't happy in Mesquite with our chicken that came in temp. I mean, James and I cooked, I think, 45 chicken thighs last week.
So it is practice, of course.
Oh, yeah, I think it's the only thing I can control. And for a long time, people probably thought I practiced too much. But, I mean, look at it, it's a half a point here, half a point there. It's thousandths of a point. So, yeah, I want to make sure that we have control. I mean, the latest thing that's coming is the charcoal I use is going away. But a lot of guys that use Ozark oak, I mean, so it's finding a suitable replacement there. We're burning a lot of charcoal in the weeks we're not during the week, trying to find the one that matches the flavor profile, the burn temperature, the ash. And so that's something we're working on now too.
In the ribs category, you take 6.
Yeah.
How good were the ribs?
Compart ribs.
Yeah. So, like, what's the flavor of a Compart rib? Is it more porky or like what's the value?
Really,
benefit?
really tender. So, that's the best. It's got great flavor, but it's super tender. And you sometimes have to be a little careful because it can. I mean that prime time when it's ready can get by you, but yeah. I mean I'm cooking all Compart stuff. I'm part of Team Compart, and I've had an excellent season so far in pork. I have 2 17944s there so far. I think 2 firsts and 5 contests. So, but pork has been good, but the Compart pork is just crazy good. I mean, he calls it the Black Angus of pork. I call it the Wagyu of pork.
Is it a situation where, like some of the higher qualities will have a tendency to cook faster? Will it cook quicker than normal?
No, it's not necessarily faster. I think you just got to be a little more. Personally, I have to be more careful with it compared to a commodity product. I mean, I don't want to over-render it. And because you hit a point where it becomes fall off the bone maybe a little quicker than some of the other stuff.
You pull
like you said, you don't want.
That's right. You pull a third in brisket. Pork was a little bit farther, down the list than the other 3 at the 16th. But
yeah, that was it was an off week in pork. And we knew it. And what you do is you hope you do well enough. In the other categories, we knew we weren't going to hit in pork. We knew that. And by the way, anybody who says they know, you never know. I mean, it's the funniest thing. I mean, I've had cooks where I thought I knocked it out of the park, and I'm pretty critical. If you talk to Matt Dalton and the different West Coast teams and stuff, I'm usually very hard on my food.
It's like my grandma Rempe used to say, even when you know, you never know.
No, you never know.
Right.
So, I mean, look, there's a lot of really good competitions, and there's not as many in Northern California this year than last year, and Nevada and Arizona, there's not many at all. So the California ones, we're having all big contests. I mean, I cooked Santa Anita, I think it was 100 teams.
Yeah. And Data Point.
I mean, the fact that you could look at California and say, boy, barbecue's doing really well, but I think it's doing well in California because the other states are really not doing well.
Yep, benefiting from the other states being down, absolutely. Pitmaster of Big Papa Smokers is who we're talking to, Sterling Ball. He is the grand champ of the West Coast Barbecue Classic that took place just this past weekend. Where are you going to be at next competing, Sterling?
Okay, I hate to do this to our buddies at Ridge Route, but I looked at my schedule. I couldn't do Bakersfield because it would have been 11 in a row, and that's, I'm still running a couple other businesses and got grandkids and family, so I'm taking this week off, and then I got 6 in a row. I'm doing Boulder City. I'm cooking Norco. I'm cooking Valley Center. I'm cooking the Taste of Dallas on June 12th, which is an invitational. I'm doing a lot of cooking in Colorado this year in the summer, because really after June, the California contests are pretty much done. There's only, I think, 2 or 3 after that. So, I mean, if I want to keep cooking, I'm having a hard time finding 25 contests to cook. Right now I'm at, I think, 22 on the books, and 5 of them are invitationals. So it's going to be very difficult because I'm only going to have, 17 contests that count, and I'd like to get more. Because you know what? When you've got a company and you're trying to make sure your profile stays out there, you have to show up in the standings somewhere.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's, believe it or not, it's a little pressure that that's always there. You don't want to have this Big Papa Smokers, this West Coast offense, and then go and, need depends.
Absolutely. He is Sterling Ball, the pitmaster of Big Papa Smokers, and again, the website, bigpapasmokers.com. Sterling, always appreciate the time, and again, congratulations on the win this past weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
You got it. There he is. My favorite Sterling, Big Papa Smokers pitmaster Sterling Ball, of course. I'm telling you, man, there's no doubt. I mean, those rubs are good. I mean, I have a full complement of those rubs in my pantry, and yeah, to a man. Well respected. All right, folks, Mother's Day was this past weekend. Did you F it up? Oh, boy. You did it again. You did it again. You did it again. Hurry, you can fix it. Go to StephenDeFranco.com. That's right. Stephen, D-I-F-R-A-N-C-O. StephenDeFranco.com. Pick out a new watch. Call Steve right now, 440-943-2700. Tell him you're a barbecue brother or sister. He'll give you the real discounted price on the watch that you find and pick out on the website. It's not allowed by the manufacturer to show the real discounted price on his website. All watches from Stephen DeFranco come with the exclusive watch performance package that includes a 1-year extension of the manufacturer's warranty, free engraving, free watch batteries for life of the watch, a free polishing cloth, all at no extra charge. All shipped for free, saving you money there as well. Of course, Father's Day coming up. Ladies, I know you're mad because your boyfriend or your husband or whatever screwed it all up for him. Don't continue to perpetuate the bad. Perpetuate the good. Show him you're better than he is. Call Steve. Again, 440-943-2700. Look for a watch for your man. Men inherently, except for some, aren't really jewelry guys, but nothing sets off your work clothes or your going out outfit off better than a finely crafted timepiece. The Bolovas, the Citizens, Philip & Company. He's got them all on the website. Again, StephenDeFranco.com. Call him 440-943-2700. All right, we're back with Levi Bosca right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, we are back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Email in from John Dawson. Greg, the Kingsford Invitational should be used as a case study of how to get marketing completely wrong. 2 words of advice to Kingsford. Gary Vaynerchuk agreed. Talk about having the most talked about barbecue contest on the face of the earth after he got done with it. My man V, get that thing turned around. I mean, again, it's so bizarre. You have a huge $50,000 winner-takes-all barbecue contest, and nobody freaking knows about it. What the hell? Let me tell you what people know about right now. The newest guest into the Barbecue Central Show stable, he is Levi Bosca. Levi, brother, how are you?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Levi. Appreciate you making time for the show tonight. And so I want to have you on. I mean, I'm a big fan of yours on the Instagram, and I just like, I don't take really good pictures, but I appreciate people that take and know how to take really good pictures, and you do that very well. So I really like following you on the social media stuff, just to see your pictures. I mean,
Thanks, man.
Stalk around on your personal life, love that too. But the picture's really, the thing I like the most. So
my girlfriend always hounds me about that because we can't go anywhere without me taking a picture of my food somewhere or doing something.
That's like inherent with the whole barbecue culture, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Got to take pictures of everything that's about ready to go in your pie hole. So you've gotten into what I call the biz of barbecue. And look, I mean, from the guy like me who's just a backyard guy and likes to kind of pal around with these pit masters and so forth in the competition scene and in the restaurant world, if you're halfway decent at it, people are always like, oh, your barbecue is so good. You should start a restaurant. But it's like one of the most riskiest things to do in the world ever. However, if you do it right and you have a good plan, it can be done very successfully and perhaps, grown out. So I figured, hey, you have the Butcher Barbecue stand. Is it open, like officially open yet?
Saturday at 11 o'clock.
This Saturday or like a couple days ago?
Yeah, this Saturday, May 16th at 11 a.m. We open the doors.
All right. So we are literally hours and days away from getting this thing down. So, all right. So let's dig at it from this fashion. Like, where are you like, hey, let's open Butcher Barbecue stand? Got to do that.
So are you asking how did I come up with it or what?
Yeah, like when like how long have you been marinating on that?
Well, it was about a year ago. Me and my dad decided we were going to do a catering thing, and that kind of fell through. And we were cutting meat one day, and I looked at him. I was like, I want to open up a restaurant. And then we started just kind of talking about it, and then one thing led to another, and I was like, hey, let's do a barbecue stand, not a full-blown restaurant and a sit-down place. Let's not do that, and try and do it a little bit cheaper. And so we just went with the barbecue stand. He's like, do you want to do it? He's like, I have full faith in you, and there it went, literally. I grew up in a barbecue restaurant, so when I was 5, my grandparents bought a restaurant. I lived in it until I was 17 when it burned down, and so I've kind of been around it my whole life.
So what have you done? So since you were both, you and Dave were like, hey, okay, good, let's get this thing going. What have you had to put into place, buy, order, get set up to eventually lead up to the big open coming up on Saturday?
We have to buy everything. What have we not bought? That's probably the easier thing. Man, it's actually at an old Connex, which is like the reefer units that they send on ships that you see stacked up a mile high. They put on ships. That's literally what it is. It's a 40-foot long Connex. It's a fully insulated building. We just bought a non-working unit. We built walls in it. We drew pictures on a piece of notebook paper, and we're like, hey, we could do this and do that. And our meat shop, the meat processing plant, has 3 of those Connexes put together. So we were able to walk around it and go, man, we could put a prep table here. We could do this. We could kind of lay it out and actually be in exactly what we were going to be putting it in. And it just really grew from there. I went to the city and had one shipped, and then all hell broke loose from there, man. It just kind of built on from there. 8 months, literally. I looked the other night at my receipt, and it was delivered on the 18th, 8 months ago, and we're opening up on the 16th. So,
what kind of a menu? Well, let me say this. This is just my personal outsider looking in. If I was ever going to do a restaurant, like this is like the perfect idea. no full-blown restaurant. I think that is a very difficult way to make a successful restaurant, depending on where you're at. I mean, in Cleveland, I would, lose my shirt. But why not have something people walk up? Looks like from some of the other pictures I saw, you have like some picnic tables and some other seating available out there. But no waitresses and no overhead lights and all this other overhead that's just going to kind of eat into that bottom line right off the top. So that's kind of like I would love to do that kind of a thing. But as far as menu is concerned, how extensive or how basic, perhaps, are you sticking with it right off of the outset?
I wouldn't say it's basic, but it's not basic because we're really, truly going to take the competition style and make it public and just kind of feed people like that. But I mean, I do a smoked hamburger, and so we're gonna do that. It's a half-pound smoked cheeseburger, but it's 60% beef and 40% ground bacon inside the patty. So it's a half-pound patty with bacon already in it. We'll smoke that. It takes about an hour and a half. We'll hold it in brisket au jus, and we'll do. That's kind of different. I've been in these kind of things, but they're called chick Q nuggets. I'm taking smoked boneless chicken breasts. I'll cube them up, and then we hold them in our sauce with more brown sugar and put them back in the smoker, and those caramelize today. And you can order those by the pound or in a sandwich and that kind of stuff. Dessert is Twinkies, literally just Twinkies. I thought that was kind of cool. Everybody loves Twinkies. But there's nothing too crazy. I mean, it's barbecue. That's what it is. If it can't be cooked in the smoker, we aren't cooking it. There's no ovens. There's no fryolators. There's none of that. There's a Cook Shack FEC 750.
Oh.
That's it.
That's a big boy. 750, hold a lot of meat now.
Yep.
Do you have, I would imagine, some really good meat purveyor contacts, given the fact that of the industry contacts that you already kind of have and are related to?
Well, it kind of helped. We're buying through U.S. Foods, and so we contact the girl, and so she comes out to the meat shop, and my dad just starts spitting questions at her. She's like, "Let me send my meat guy out." And so they send their meat guy out, and they have a heyday for an hour and a half, and he's a big tab guy, and that was kind of funny, and they had their talks, and they respected each other by the end of the day, and he thought it was really neat that somebody else could talk to him the way that he could talk to him. So they understand what they're getting into on our end with the butcher background that we can call them. And well, I got my first truck today, for instance, and they sent us 160 frozen slabs of St. Louis's, and we put them back on the truck and sent them back. And I called them, I was like, "Hey, we can't cook frozen ribs, and we're not going to." And so now we have more ribs coming tomorrow, fresh spare ribs ready to cut, but they're making it happen for us next week. They're going to have them pre-sliced for St. Louis and everything. So it helps.
Did you go out into your marketplace? I mean, I'm sure you figure out where you're going to plant the stand, and then you take whatever kind of a radius you're looking at and doing business with. Did you go out and kind of poll and get some instant feedback on what people might be, or what might attract them more to your barbecue stand or place of business than they would be going anywhere else?
No, not really. I just kind of built a place that I would want to hang out with. Like I said earlier, I don't like calling myself a foodie, but like I've planned vacations around places to eat. So I do a lot of like traveling around and eating different places, and I'm just kind of on my own R&R, I guess. And like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just something I think that I would enjoy. And we're not reinventing the wheel. It's barbecue. I mean, that's what it is. We're gonna have brisket, we're gonna have pulled pork, we're gonna have ribs and chicken, and we'll have one side on. I'll do weekly specials and stuff like that. But I mean, if you like barbecue, you're gonna like it.
How many other people are entering this foray with you? Is it just Levi Bosca, and you're going to be there like 24/7, 365?
Yeah. Well, it's going to be Friday, Saturday from 11 to 8 p.m. and Sunday 11 to 3, and that's all we're going to be open. But yeah, I mean, it's mine. It's mine. It's all me.
So it's just you're just open on the weekends, basically.
Yep, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Wow. All right. So what are you going to do the rest of the week?
Well, we still got meat hanging in the meat shop, so we'll probably be cutting beef.
The business plan. I'm a business guy, so I always like talking numbers with people. Obviously, you have some setup costs and some money already invested in. Do you have projected out numbers now where you need to be to get that ROI back, or do you have a time period set up at least on a benchmark to get ROI back on this place?
Not really, man. Like you said earlier, it's cheaper and stuff to do what we're doing. So the property, I don't have cost in property because I put it on the same property that my grandma had her restaurant on. We're on the original Route 66. So I have property. She donated that to me basically as I was going to get a third of everything she has when she dies. So she gave me my third while she was alive, and she can enjoy it with me. And so that's a big cost. The unit and everything, literally when we open the door, everything will be paid for. So I don't have any crazy overhead.
So you're just going to be making gravy right from that first sandwich.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. You got to come up and you ready to franchise? I'm about ready to drop one on the lakefront here.
Yeah. Well, it was 8 months of doing everything yourself, from I'm talking gravel and rock to building fake tables and everything. Man, it didn't come cheap. But it's really hard work to even get to even where we are.
Butcher barbecue seasonings and injections and all that stuff, or
everything.
Or what?
Literally, it's the recipe. It's the man's recipe. And so, I mean, honey rubs go on the ribs, the premium rubs on the brisket, a little bit of steak and brisket rub on it. I mean, we'll be wrapping just like he does at the competitions. We'll be using the oil on the ribs just like we do at the competition. It's almost to the T. The difference is you go to competition, you cook 6 slices or 6 pieces, and you have a one bite. You have that one bite, and you have a 5-minute window where they're eating it. I have to cook the same quality of food and be able to serve that quality food for hours. You know what I mean? And that's the part where people lose it, is not knowing the knowledge on holding proteins and doing all that correctly. That usually ends up pretty bad.
Well, that was going to be one of my last questions. Was as you say, in the competition world, it's a whole different beast. When you're open, between 8 and 5, there could be a potential stretch where you're not turning it over as quickly, and you need to know either how to hold, or you run that risk of falling into a lot of other chain barbecue restaurants where, it's crappy. Unless you're getting it right out of the cooker, it's
Right.
average at best. So it sounds like you have some plans and some experience on how to make sure that whether it's coming off the cooker, whether it's been out, your client isn't going to be able to taste that difference.
Right. No, and they won't.
Sounds like things are headed in the right direction. If people want to get out there, address, the city, the phone number, all that good stuff, let's get it out there so we can make sure that the grand opening is huge.
Okay, so the location is 3402 West Highway 66 in Wellston, Oklahoma. The zip code is 74881. We'll be flipping the telephone lines over, and the phone number is 405-240-3437. And we're opening up Saturday 11 a.m., and we'll be open Sunday from 11 to 3, and then after that, every weekend after. So.
All right. You can go see Levi cooking up some great barbecue this weekend. Again, the grand opening Saturday. And I will link all the contact information here in the post-show notes. Levi, I wish you nothing but success, man, and we will talk to you soon. Love to keep kind of track on how this thing progresses for you.
Cool. Sounds great. Thank you, Greg.
All right. There he is, Levi Bosco, the new proprietor of the Butcher Barbecue stand. And man, if I was at least 4 hours of driving distance, I would be there, man. Are you kidding me? You kidding me? Would absolutely be there. Good luck to Levi, and I'm anxious just to get some feedback on the weekend. Who's going to go? I mean, I know Dave's going to be there. Dave Qualls, you live in Oklahoma. You going to go to the opening? And you can give feedback. All right, folks, if you didn't know by now, Big Papa Smokers, the one-stop online shop for anyone interested in barbecue, the #1 dealer of Mack pellet grills in the world. Big Papa Smokers features a wide selection of American-made grills and smokers, such as the Old Hickory Ace BP, Gateway drum smokers. Even a drum kit gives you everything you need to make a world-class smoker out of a 55-gallon drum. They also made a name for itself in recent years by crafting an award-winning line of championship rubs. From flavors like Sweet Money to Happy Ending, their rubs have had a hand in winning almost every major barbecue competition, including the 2012 and 13 American Royal, 2012 and 14 Jack Daniels, the 2013 Kingsford Challenge, 2014 Houston Livestock and Rodeo, and the 2014 King of the Smoker. Don't think BPS can just be pigeonholed into competitive barbecue either. BPS rubs have become so well known, they've just been picked up by a nationwide restaurant chain, BJ's Restaurant and Brew House, which evidently is coming here to Cleveland, per Sterling Ball a little earlier in the show. With 4 of the 9 BPS rubs featured on their permanent menu, and amid glowing reviews, BPS rubs are proven to be a great addition to anyone's pantry, commercial or in the house. Big Papa has also banded together with fellow California-based rub company Simply Marvelous Barbecue to form what has now become known as the West Coast Offense. Defying conventional wisdom, these 2 California-based rub makers have cornered the market on competitive barbecue, begun to redefine the flavor profile that competitive cooks from across the country have begun to aim for. Big Papa's website also features an online meat locker with top-quality meats from Snake River Farms shipped right to your front door. From American Kobe beef, caribou to pork, the Double R Ranch meats, Big Papa's Meat Locker has something for every type of barbecue aficionado. Committed to bringing you the best flavors on the market, Big Papa Smokers has also recently added a few new barbecue sauces to the lineup. Swamp Boys sauce, a fine swine sauce, Granny's barbecue sauce. These new sauces are considered to be the new kids on the block this barbecue season. You better pick them up right now. Big Papa also created a unique brand ambassador program called the BPS Elite Team, featuring 15 of the best competition teams in the country working together to promote camaraderie, competition barbecue, and to benefit children's charities across the U.S. Keep in mind that Big Papa Smokers has been able to do all of this within only 5 years of being in business, turning competition barbecue on its head, providing customers with the very best barbecue products out there, becoming a staple of a nationwide restaurant chain, and benefiting children's charities across the U.S. Just the beginning for Big Papa Smokers. All right, we're back to wrap up this show right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Big B, Moonshine Band, Suburban Records. Let's go! I'm an outlaw. Give me 2 shots.
All right, we are back. 216-220-0966. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com if you want to jump in tonight. Thanks again to Levi Bosca for joining me this past segment talking about the Butcher Barbecue stand that's opening this Saturday. 3402 West Highway 66, Wellston, Oklahoma, 74881, or call 405-240-3437. Again, that number, 405-240-3437. 11 a.m. Saturday, the 16th. Butcher's Barbecue stand officially opens to glowing reviews. Or to be glowing reviews. I don't doubt it for a second. You kidding me? You kidding me? I am in informal talks with getting Steven Reichlin back on the show on a recurring basis. So very excited about that. Have some more news on that next week. Great guests lined up as well. Congratulations and good luck to everybody that will be competing over the weekend. And may your calls be plentiful, bountiful, and or otherwise. All right, let's wrap it up. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with Doug Scheiding, the pitmaster of Rogue Cookers. He gave us the up-to-date analysis of what Texas barbecue is going on right now. Then we talked with Mike McLeod, MMA Creative. Talked about the first 1/5 of the Sam's Club barbecue season. A little bit of World Food Championships. Biggest news that we heard, that is going away from Las Vegas and going to Kissimmee, Florida. Wow. Wow. That's bigger news than the American flag incident earlier in the year, for crying out loud. Wow. Second hour, Big Papa Smokers pitmaster Sterling Ball talked about the win at the Barbecue Classic. Talked about rubs as well. And then helping me close the show, last segment, Levi Bosca, the owner of Butcher Barbecue. Again, that'll be opening at 11 a.m. this coming Saturday, so check it out if you're going to be anywhere around town. Support the folks that support the show, that's what I say. All right, if you use raw cast iron, re-season it each and every time as it starts to re-cool off. Hit it with a grill brush, a little Pam, a little Crisco, let it burn back in. Generations of rust-free service shall unfold to you. Also, September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.